Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast For the Love of Drama. Today I'm continuing the topic of monologues, and I'm talking about writing a monologue. So let's dive in. Dramatic monologues are a literary technique that have been used since ancient Greek theatre. Today they are popular in plays and films. The word monologue is made up from the Greek roots for alone and speak. The best way to write a strong monologue is to begin writing and keep at it. The more practice, the better you'll get. Things to consider when writing a monologue. It isn't a way for writers to let loose and write without limits. Monologues should be written with care, thought about carefully. This is so they are relatable and interesting for the people watching and listening. A monologue, for example, a monologue can be a confession, a memory or reflection, or speaking or shouting even angrily, like a rant or a plea, or perhaps asking for help. There's many different variations. I'm sure we could think up hundreds if we really thought about it. Some simple steps when beginning to write are to choose a character, decide who is speaking and what their emotional state is. Number 2, set the space. Give general hints about where and when this is happening. 3, reveal the character's inner conflict by letting the audience see the character's thoughts and feelings. 4, build the speech to a turning point or end with a change in mood, a decision, or a realization. These 3 questions are helpful when writing a monologue. Why is this character speaking now? What do they want to achieve? And who are they speaking to? Using and asking yourself these questions will help you write a monologue that is clear and understandable to an audience, and also informative and interesting. Other key points to consider are the character's backstory or their importance to the storyline. Monologues are meant to reveal important details about a character or plot, which is necessary to develop the speaking character and a detailed plot they fit into. The character's motivation. In real life, people don't monologue unless they have a reason. For example, a speech at a wedding, which can sometimes turn into a very long kind of monologue. Believe me, I've been there. It's the same for any character giving a monologue in a play or a film. There should be a purpose for it. Another key point is the character's voice. Monologues come in many shapes and forms for a writer to explore. However, in your story, a monologue should feel natural and invisible and told in your character's voice and point of view. And also, it's a good point to use for your character to be using language that sounds naturally and authentically like the character. So this is good writing and will help create an effective monologue. Another example. Imagine a 45-year-old man speaking, and then imagine his teenage daughter speaking. So their ways in a monologue of delivering a speech would be very different, as probably would be their individual points of view. So when writing, try to slide smoothly into a monologue with your first line. An opening line like, "Remember when we first met?" Or another line, "I was thinking of something you said yesterday." One line is a question and the other is a statement, but both are an easy, straightforward way for a character to start giving a monologue. And finally, good monologues are structured just like good stories. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you very much for listening. Next week, I am going to attempt to write a monologue. I can't say I've ever written one before. Well, not recently anyway. I've probably written one or two in my lifetime, and that was a few years ago with a lot of help. So let's see what I can come up with for next week. We'll see. So hopefully that is the intention. Let's see if it turns out that way. Everybody have a brilliant week. Thank you again. Thank you for listening very much. I really do appreciate it. And take care and have a lovely rest of the week. See you next Monday. Bye.